All right there. Well, welcome back to Good Morning Hospitality. Today's lineup is all about private equity, AI travel drama, luxury expansion, and a flight that turned into a hair salon. Let's get into it. Good morning.
Good morning, Sarah. Look at this energy you're bringing this morning.
Dude, this is what happened. So we were just so I'm in New York, so I'm joining you from the East Coast time zone. So it's not like 7 a.m. for me. Well, I mean, maybe my body clock, but it's 10 a.m. I'm awake. I'm caffeinated. I already went for a walk in the neighborhood. We're good.
You're right. I just got out of bed, rolled over here. I'm under the weather today, Sarah.
No.
I need soup. Listeners, what kind of soup am I drinking? I need some chicken noodles, some matzo ball, some hot and sour. What's the trick out here? I got a sore throat, a little cranky, but I'm here because I love doing this show with all of you every single day. Every Wednesday.
You are here. Thank goodness, not contagious, at least virtually.
Only through the mind. We share our ideas.
It's crazy. Actually,
what are you doing in New York? Is it something fun?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, isn't life always fun?
That's true.
No. Well, we've got the Skift Megatrends event that is happening tomorrow, Thursday. I am also doing a fun hotel and PMS feature. So I'm going to be filming Friday and came in a couple days early just because I've got clients and people to see. You know what? I love this. I have to quickly share what happened last night because this was a totally unexpected moment. So normally when I come to New York, I used to live here. I've got family here and my days get so packed. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to plan anything for the first night. First of all, I took the train in. So I feel like a very authentic New Yorker. Oh, so from JFK, amazing, great decision to do. And secondly, I had my evening free. I had work to catch up on. So I was all set up doing my work. And a longtime friend of mine who I met when I was working at the last hotel I worked at the London Hotel, probably like 12 years ago. She is one of the main anchors at NBC4. So the news station here in New York. And so we had talk about, let's get together. And she's like, well, wait, what are you doing tonight at like 8:15? And I'm like, I'm just working. And she's like, you want to come by the studio? And I'm like, yes. So I got a cool private tour of 30 Rock, got to see all like the NBC, the shows, all of that. I couldn't take pictures of everything, but what I could do, as far as playing around on the NBC New York kind of like stage and all of that, we had so much fun. She let me do a version of the weather and all that good. Not live, fun. But
if you're not following Sarah on Instagram, follow her Ask a Concierge account because she posted everything there. It was fun to see. And I was like, wow, this looks awesome. That's why she's such a pro here on the podcast because she trains in the real professional studios with real anchors. We got a real talent here with us, listeners and viewers. We got a real talent here, Sarah. It looked awesome.
I think for me, what the biggest reminder was, it's like, and we talk about this all the time, right? About like leaving room in your schedule for unexpected things to happen. And if I would have had dinner with like somebody, I wouldn't have been able to do this. And because I gave myself some time, she asked me, I'm like, yeah, let's rally. So I like walked over there in the cold, totally like froze my face because it was cold. It was cool, colder than it was like 19 degrees. And
you said yes. A lot of people are like, I just got in, I'm tired, and you went, right? So that's the good part about going and making things happen.
Yeah.
And what is Gwen saying?
All right. Oh, cool. Okay. I love it. You took the train in. Yes. So the train, I'm going to break this down for you guys. Okay. Easy hack. You should totally do this when you come to New York. So over the recent years, the cost of taking an Uber or even a taxi has become significant. Minimum. Yesterday I looked, I took a screenshot even, and I think it was going to be like 180 or like $200 to come in. And I landed at 3 o'clock because coming from the West Coast here, whatever. Of course, it's going to take an hour and a half to get into the city. So I did some research, ended up taking the air train, and then got on the Long Island Railroad. And I think in total, I spent maybe $15, and I got to my hotel in 40 minutes.
That's amazing.
It's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
So-
where does it say? So we got someone here. New York is very overrated. Miami is the next big thing for everything. I agree. I'm here in Miami. I agree with you. New York is still the biggest city, and everyone loves New York. And every time I say that, people fight me on it. But I do love Miami and what's happening here.
Oh, wait, no. I think I said this a couple of episodes ago, but right now, I think the heartbeat of like the restaurant scene and the culinary scene is next level in Miami. I think it's the most exciting culinary scene in the country right now. I mean, obviously, there's always stuff happening here in New York, and certainly Los Angeles has gone down a couple of notches. Yeah, for sure.
All cyclical. But I'll tell you what, and before we get into our shows, like this in Miami, we just had the college football championship. And I love seeing how big sports events really bring in crowds from all over the place to really enjoy the city. I want to give a shout out to all the people from Indiana because their team was here and they were some of the nicest people, fully decked out in their red Indiana gear. You could see them everywhere and they were the nicest. Howdy, y'all, with the, great hospitality and just love being here. All excited to be down here. The game was great, but I want to give a shout out to the city of Miami and Miami Beach. Diplo, who's a DJ, put on a big 5K run, and he DJ'd after the 5K, and then there was a free concert. Did you go to that? I was under the weather. I wasn't feeling good. I wanted to be there. It was right out my door. It was like 2 blocks away. And then on the beach, John Summit and Calvin Harris put on a free concert for everyone, and just really cool how the city got activated, and it was packed here, but no major drama, no major issues for the most part, and really did a great job, the city of Miami and Miami Beach. So great job hosting a world-class event down here.
I swear to you, like Miami is where it's happening. And I say this, I'm not living in Miami. I'm not biased. I'm scoping out what's happening all around the country. And I really, to me, it's very exciting. I mean, the fact that all happened, that's not happening right. Well, I mean, it's too cold to be happening in New York right now. It's not really happening in Los Angeles. So, I mean, when you're talking about the big cities, too cold in Chicago, Miami's hot.
Kate going on a cruise in July. I love cruising. It's one of my favorite ways to travel. Which cruise you're going on, I'd love to see, but you'll definitely have a great time. July, it's hot here, but there's still a lot of good fun things going on. And Christelle, good morning from Palm Beach. I love the bus that takes you directly from Grand Central. Inexpensive, comfortable, and no hassle. Some of this public transport, I have to do it in New York. I did it when I'm like bopping around, but not from the airport. I always got a car. But last time I did it a couple weeks ago, it was $180. And I was like, man, it's much more expensive than the flight.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy right now. So, I mean, then obviously it all depends on how much luggage you have and all that. So I knew I was carry-on only. So I'm like, we'll just kind of squeeze right in here, but it was good. Definitely worth it for sure.
Hi, Kathleen. Thanks for joining. A lot of people from YouTube today. Love seeing it. Lou, good to have you here. All right.
Amazing. Oh, wow.
Our show today. We got a lot of good viewers here today. Love seeing it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Thank you guys for joining us. All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and get into some of the topics? Our first one, I find this really interesting. So Outsite lands a private equity backing for social extended stays. And what's interesting about this really kind of ties into the whole loneliness epidemic. Like we're in one, whether you know it or not. And Outsite is kind of positioning itself kind of as this like remedy for travelers because it's kind of cool what they're doing. You're pretty familiar with Outsite, right?
Yeah, I was looking them over. I hadn't heard of them until I started reading the article, but I like what they're putting together. And, they really want to push people to be social when they're staying somewhere. So they encourage people to cook together and have activities and do different things. Yeah. And the average stay at one of the Outsites is 10 days, right? So that's 5 times longer than a normal business trip. And they're really pushing people to mix with each other and interact and get to know each other. And I think like we talked about this loneliness epidemic, I could see it happening. I have some friends that, man, they don't have many friends. They don't really do much. They're on screens all day, right? They don't go out and socialize. And, I find myself sometimes where I have to push myself like you just did, right? You go out and go see your friend and go have a cool experience. And so I like companies that are really bringing people to get together in real life. We talked about it on our last show, like more analog things, going out and meeting with people. And so Outsite is having some success, but there's been other companies that have tried, but their business model wasn't set up for success. Like Selena tried, and I know someone very high in Selena, and talking to them, that they made some bad lease decisions, and those leases, they rent out an entire hotel and then hope they could cover the rate with people coming and selling that lifestyle. But when they couldn't, that money dried up really fast. So I like
Mhm.
Outsite's model where it's a mix of leases, management, and then
Yeah.
also like licensing their brand out there as well.
Totally. Well, Limestone is really kind of focusing on this experience economy, like hospitality. air- that's like their big focus, which is obviously what Outsite is. And if for those that haven't checked it out, I like some of these ways of describing it. It's almost like hostile energy, but for professionals.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really do a good job as far as like creating a community and really just focusing on and it's different than in hotels necessarily, with just like a lobby bar and that like there's a whole lot more that's going on with this. So I think that, I mean, and by the way, this totally ties into what we talked about at the start of the year. It's like people going analog, people looking for community. You named
Mhm.
it.
Yeah. And so what I'm
So
looking for out of this, I was thinking about my son, my daughter and son. I watch them on the playground, but my son especially. He gets to
yeah,
the playground, he scopes out the scene. He's like, all right, I'm going over to that guy. Hey, you want to be my friend? Do you want to play? Let's play a game. And they play for an hour and then they come back.
that's
Oh, he's my new best friend. Right. And I kind of see things like this. I start looking at it through like a child's lens, like we should all be doing this a little bit more. And I like people and locations that are setting that up for others to kind of break down those walls we build as adults. Like, I don't trust this person. I don't know this person, but hey, let's make a meal together. Let's have some fun. Let's have a combined experience. So I was thinking about that. I was reading the article. Like, this is what we need a little bit more of. We need people to come in, create these places that we can all get together, meet new people, open our world a little bit. So I like seeing what Outsite's doing. I'm cheering them on. I really hope they don't expand too fast and go under like a
mhm.
lot of the companies do. So I'm going to check them out. I see they're starting to expand more and more.
Yeah, I think it's cool. And again, it's like we've seen these other different brands of companies that do like adult summer camp.
Yep.
And so I mean, again, we're just seeing people are craving to connect in different ways. And that sort of summer camp notion ties into exactly what you're saying with your son. It's taking us back to when we were younger and just a little bit more
Improve.
like I just want to meet more people. Yeah.
Yeah, have some
So
fun, and who knows what. Listen, you never know where that hour meal takes you, or saying yes to a little tour, or like I'm going to start taking tennis classes, right? You never know where that's going to go, and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just excited to see where it happens.
Totally, totally. All right, well, let's shift on here to our next topic. This is kind of not kind of, this is very big, actually. So, Google's made some changes recently, and right now, their advice for travel brands, forget generic keywords, AI can now read your photos. And so basically Google has says AI is reshaping how travelers kind of discover trip options key from not just keywords but to photos and reviews. And I mean, obviously, with traditional search, it's still playing like a role closer to booking. So this is really, it's kind of interesting what's going on. It's like SEO is not just keywords now; it's like context and credibility,
Yeah,
which is
it's the
kind of
images
cool.
too. So you might type in romantic getaway, and that hotel may not have that written in anywhere, but it'll see a couple in a pool, or like a couple having a romantic dinner, and from the photos, and say, all right, we're going to include that in there as well. Um, what I also like seeing is that people are searching differently now. They know kind of what they're
Sure.
looking for, and helping, saying, I want a day pass at this hotel, not just day pass Miami, like day pass St. Regis. And it's being able to offer up
Yeah.
that plus other options. And I just think, look, it's going to get smarter and smarter. We talked about it, I think it was the last show or 2 shows ago, or I think might have been you, Lou, who said, I don't want AI booking my trips. But I just think it's going to be happening faster and faster as it gets better at understanding what we like, what they think we may like, kind of stuff that
Mhm.
we want to see, and just giving us smarter options. But I think we're still in that place where I'm not sure about you, but I'll type in, I'll let it kind of give me some ideas, but then I'll go back and check myself to make sure it's actually working
Oh,
and what I
yeah.
want to
Oh,
see, right? And Paul is saying,
So,
Google has been talking about this for the past 2 years. I'm still waiting for this all to be incorporated into the actual experience. Well, I know Paul, if anyone wants to work with Paul, Paul does a great job at doing SEO and building all this out for a lot of great people. So he's an expert in it. And I get to talk to Paul a lot about these kind of things. So it's true. I'm just curious to see where we're at 12 months from now, because 12 months ago, I was just looking at the stuff I couldn't do using AI. And now all the stuff I can do, it's pretty incredible just in 1 year what starts happening.
oh, it's gonna change exponentially. I mean, we're in it. Lou's saying that he enjoys the research process for trips, and yes, but how much more efficient would it be if you have assistants like sifting through everything for you? So it's like giving you bullet points as opposed to having to like read for forever.
Hey,
So
sir, how about you? You do a lot of booking for very, I don't
mhm.
want to give away your clients, but wealthy people, right?
Yeah.
And you take
Mhm.
care of a lot of things, and they can call you at all hours of the day. Are you using AI
Mhm.
in your day to day?
So it depends. So if it's a place I've never been to, then I might go there first to get the lay of the land, to just be like, okay, what are like the must sees of this, that, whatever. And then what I'll do, just because I mean, just being a former hotel concierge and having contacts everywhere, depending on where they're staying, I'll reach out to the concierge to kind of check that. And then I also have a lot of colleagues that also do travel as well. So I end up comparing what I see online to what I'm getting from the hotel to other travel professionals that are booking for people. And so, for example, I'm doing arranging a trip for clients of mine going to India, and they're very specific as far as what they need. They're going to be doing some different stuff during the day, and I also base it based off of how much information I'm getting from whoever I'm asking and asking a service for. So, for example, India, I asked and I was just getting very generic. Oh, it'll be like, it'll cost this much for the day. And I'm like, I don't, I care. We care about the cost, but I'm like, what's the type of car? What's the type of tour guide? Are they comfortable like speaking English with this, that, whatever? And so based off of the interaction, but there's AI, there's definitely a bit of AI in it, especially if it's someplace I don't know, but I'm doing a lot of checks and balances because I really want to make sure
You
that
can't do that
that they're having a
one.
good time.
That's true. And Lou's
So,
saying, Lou, we're giving Lou a hard time, but he's answering us. But he says he's retired, enjoys shifting, but he used it for a trip to Paris, and it was quite good for his plan. So, Lou, we're happy to hear that, and we love you always joining us every week. So we're just busting your chops a little bit here.
but
But yeah, I agree
by
with
the
you. I
way,
agree with you.
I do this planning for my clients, but when it comes to myself, I just go with it. I do very little planning when it comes to myself. Or if I'm traveling with somebody, I'm like, yeah, you decide, and then whatever. I am all for. I like don't like planning for myself. I like to just have either somebody else do the planning or I kind of like
I'm the
figure it out.
opposite. I like planning everything and leaving a little bit of room for excitement and getting lost in the city. But
Oh my god.
AI, I'm a big believer in it. I've been saying it since you met me, Sarah, like 3 years ago. So I use it
Yeah,
every
of
day. I'm
course.
a big believer in it all the time and pushing. I just like how it's serving things up now. So
You are Mr. AI.
I don't know. I don't know. I use it all the time. I just think it's another employee. It's a good thing to have. All right.
Oh yeah. All right. So our next topic here, this is actually kind of cool because I know the Leela brand quite well. So the Leela, for those that are familiar with it, high-end luxury brand, they're adding a third luxury hotel to the pipeline since their IPO. So they're really kind of pushing towards um, building properties that that aren't necessarily just about like the stay, but really about the destination. And so um, it's pretty cool. They've got what is it? They signed a management contract for an 80 key luxury hotel in Jaisalmer, and they're aiming for operations around 2027. So
Yeah.
this is I don't know if you have this much to say about this because obviously this is about like India, and I'm literally
Booking
in the
trips to
thick
India
of
right
things.
now.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I'm like, so where maybe a couple months ago I wouldn't have had much to chime in on this. I can actually talk quite a bit about it, and I have some
Yeah,
people
I'm
looking at
curious
one
your
of the
take on
Leela.
this because when I think of India, I don't think of
Yeah,
any major brands that come to mind right off the top of the head other than the ones that we always talk about. But also, this is in, again, what market is it in? Ultra luxury, high end.
yeah,
People are willing to spend. You see that people are willing to spend their money on unique experiences anywhere in the globe right now. It's not
Yes.
just based on certain markets, because they have that. All right, I'm going to pay top dollar. I expect great service, and I'm going to have unique experience. Because if you look at Leela's locations, they all look like castles and
Yeah.
palaces and beautiful venues that you don't get access to every single day. But I'm curious to hear what you're thinking, since you're actively planning a trip
Yeah.
for people that are in potentially this demographic. What are you
Totally.
seeing as you research?
So, I mean, it's really, they have key locations that are really, it's about like heritage destinations. So they're really kind of tying in like the local history. Obviously, as you were even talking about, just even the presentation and how they look like palaces. And so that ties into the luxury element. But it's, what's interesting, and we don't have it as an article for today, but there was one of the other articles on Skiff that was talking about kind of just like where we're travel. It's interesting. So travel in the US, like for the US and the UK, travelers are being far more discerning and with how they're spending their dollars. And so the growth is a little slowed, just a little bit, just all things considered. But in India, for example, growth has expanded significantly. They are in so it's not necessarily just travelers going to India, but also in India, they are traveling a whole lot more. So it is exciting to see, and this kind of just ties into that. But if you're not necessarily plugged into the scene, that may not be first up on your radar, but the travel economy is alive and very well in India.
Yeah, I would love to visit. I have not been. That's definitely on my list to go check out. There's so many different languages and types of people there and different cultures all within one country. And I'm
Yeah.
excited to check it out one day soon. Have you been there? Have you been on there yet?
I have
India?
not been to India. I've
I
been,
am
the
so
closest I've been
excited.
was Sri Lanka. So
Yeah.
pretty close. You know.
I want to go. Taj Mahal's on my list. I want to get over there.
On the list. Okay, dude. I'm so stoked about this next
Wow,
topic.
I'm
Yes, I
excited
just
about
said
this
dude.
one to talk with you about.
If I start the segment with dude, I'm excited.
Dude, where's my car, man?
You lived in California too long when you start with dude. But yeah, so the Sphere, we talked about
You
this
know
a
what
couple weeks
rips,
ago.
dude, is the Sphere, man.
Hey, oh man, wait till Fish comes there. So the Sphere, if you guys do not know it, it is this amazing iconic structure in Las Vegas. It has 20,000 seats. It is 100% changing the landscape of Las Vegas. I think it's the tentpole holding up the city right now, and as far as just it's keeping it alive. It's wild. I saw the Backstreet Boys there. You don't have to be a fan of the band for it to just be like, whoa. But what I love, what's going on, the big news is that they have shared plans for a smaller venue in National Harbor. So that's kind of National Harbor, Maryland. That's the DC area. And it's about 6,000 seats. So this is cool. It hasn't been approved yet, but if it does get approved, this can change a lot of things just because it's a smaller format model. But seeing what it's done for Las Vegas over the past couple of years, adding something like this in a smaller model to different cities could be, I think, huge.
I am concerned about it.
Talk to me. What's your concern?
I'll rewind back because I went to the Sphere in Vegas for the David Turk. He was just on here for his bachelor party. It was one of our activities. He said, "Bro is the Miami dude. What's up, bro?"
True.
We went, and part of what I think makes it amazing is the actual size. Like this thing is massive. This is 20,000 seats. We watched the one of the films of nature in there that was very immersive. I get worried though when you start to shrink it down. Does that experience change? Does it start becoming planetarium? Planetarium's a couple hundred seats. We have a great planetarium here in Miami at the Science Museum, one of the top ones in the country with all this special tech. You start going planetarium vibes if you go smaller. 6,000 seats is still big. It's a big place, but that's what I worry about. I think part of the Sphere is like you're in this world. Like you can trick your brain to think like, whoa, I'm here. And I want to go back and really see like the Wizard of Oz. I know they did it the cool way and there's concerts. So I'm curious to think, is it more like theater and you're going to go see a show at a theater, which is a couple thousand seats? That's what I get worried about when I see it. I love the experience. I just would hate to be in every city and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And then you don't have
I'll push back.
Yes.
And I think 6,000
is here in every city.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think it will start doing it. It's now, how do you keep it special?
This is what my guess is. Oh, so first of all, I'll push back because I will say that I think 6,000 is still a lot of seats. And I think that there'll still be a wow factor, maybe not like wow. I mean, I think there's, and here's the other thing is that that they have studied this and they're probably finding the optimal size that is
Yeah.
smaller where you still get that, whoa, where am I? So that will be my pushback.
Well, I think where they're
But
going to put it, there's smart location. I know it's, I
yeah,
forget the hotel. It was like by the Gaylord Hotel. They have
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
conventions and all those people need offsite activities. And so they'll go over there and book it. It'll make money. It'll do great. That's my only concern. Like when you walk into that big one, it's like, you can go to Las Vegas, see the Eiffel Tower. It's there. But you could also go see the real one over in Paris and see. It's like, wow, look at that thing. I don't know. Maybe not a good comp. There's something out there to compare it to.
That's not a good comp. Not a good comp.
Epcot,
No.
Epcot, the countries. No, I don't know. There's something there.
Oh my gosh.
Paul saying
Haven't
Vegas
been
Sphere
to
is pretty
Epcot.
big energy suck. How does that play in other markets? Energy, like sucking the energy out? I don't know. I don't know the stats on that one.
Wait,
Like
an
lighting,
energy suck?
energy.
How do you mean that, Paul? You got
Clarify
like
this, Paul. I want some stats and where you're quoting this from, sir.
we
I'll be
don't need
talking to you
stats,
later today.
but I don't know what you mean about it. As being somebody who spent more time in Vegas recently, it actually is, I feel like it's kind of that's what I feel like
All the
it's
hotels.
livened it up. And that's why I said it is the tent pole holding up the city as they're figuring out what to do where people are gambling less, drinking less, and we're shifting into the experience economy versus just necessarily spending on other stuff.
I think it's cool. I
So
like how they're doing things. I like the way they're recreating items, concerts, and it just makes people want to go there. Like people are traveling there.
yeah, I mean they're doing a good job. That is for sure. So I don't know, pretty interesting.
I'm
I love
excited.
that you refer to a planetarium. My gosh.
That's what I'm worried about. Listen, it could happen. It could happen.
I mean, it could. Yeah. Okay. So why don't we get in here to our last topic? So last week, and you guys got to let us know if you like this, but I'm into it. It's our unhinged travel
Yeah, let's pull it
story
up here.
of
I like this
the
stuff.
week. This
Bring
is
it up.
great. Okay. All right, cool. So this is crazy. So this passenger in Delta Comfort Plus, so it must have been me. She ended up pulling out her curling iron mid-flight and starts curling her hair section by section. And it's crazy because I mean, I travel with my curling iron. So people are like, well, wait, hold on. Like, what do you, what, there isn't a rule necessarily against it, but oh my gosh, it makes me want to do this, except I don't want to be in the news for this.
It's crazy though. Like, all right, I'm going on the plane. I'm gonna curl my hair here on my seat next to somebody. Like that seems pretty wild to me.
No.
Like you think, okay, and doesn't it put off like a little bit of a smell? It's almost like doing your nails on the plane. That would be like the equivalent to me, like that smell that comes out.
As a woman who actively curls her hair, I actually thought about it.
Right? Like curl your hair. Can't you put like the curlers? I don't have much hair, so I don't know.
No. I curl my hair with a curling iron. So I had a thought that was like, oh, I should design a curling iron that plugs into your car. Because I wanted to curl my hair while I was driving places because I would save so much time. But you'd risk like burning yourself. But I don't know. I'm pretty good at multitasking.
Well,
I'm just thinking.
That clipped their nails on the plane, which was gross, and just wiped it onto the floor. That was pretty terrible. It's just so many people are gross sometimes, and they don't realize they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And so, what viewers and listeners out here, put in the chat, what have you seen that's kind of like shocked you? That's kind of like this in public transportation. It's one thing if you're in your car, but if I'm sitting next to you and I'm trying to get up to the bathroom and I burn myself because you're curling your hair with a curling iron, it just seems wild to me. Like,
Look,
what are we doing? What are we doing?
A year ago when I was working in Key West and we were filming, we had to like go from the hotel and we'd have to drive in a little golf cart to where we were filming. And the weather was so crazy, it kept like making my hair go wild. I actually have video of me curling my hair while on while on the golf cart, and it was
That's
like
different,
super
which is
efficient.
fine. Yeah, that's different. On a plane and a little tube flying through the air with this stick that's heating up that could explode, maybe. I don't know. We're taking it a step
You
further.
should do it.
Don't do
Just
it, ladies
just because you can doesn't
or
mean you
guys.
should.
Yes, exactly right. But I like this article too. Like we've seen people, like I've seen it. I was at a coffee shop just 2 days ago, and some dude brought his entire setup, like a giant iMac, multiple screens, like setting
No.
up. Yeah, like setting up, ready to go with a big power strip, plugged it into the wall. Like, ah, hey, I'm all about
It's
the
funny.
hustle. But come on.
I had a moment yesterday. I had a very rushed morning, getting on my flight to fly out to New York, and I don't go overboard with my makeup, but I normally put on like a little bit when I'm traveling, and I just was like, I didn't have time, and I have my makeup case with me, and I'm like, oh, I could I could like just like touch up my makeup, and I was like, I feel weird touching. Even that, as simple as that was, I felt weird like trying to touch up my makeup in my seat while I was flying, even
Oh, you don't
though
need any makeup, Sarah. We all know that.
ha ha ha
Kate
ha ha.
Parrish. On a flight, someone next to me pulled out a full plate of wings and licked each finger after each wing. The
Oh,
smell, I'll never forget. Did it make you want to eat some wings, Kate? Is that what it was?
dude,
That
I
is
love
pretty.
some
That's
buffalo sauce.
pretty. That's on a plane next to you. Could you imagine that? And just like licking the fingers. Imagine
The
it.
lick, the licking the fingers. I like the smell of buffalo sauce, and I don't even eat chicken, but I like the smell of buffalo sauce. But the licking the fingers is like that. That first of all, I don't like extra mouth sounds, so that would have a hard time with that. Uh, I know that's true. Like I don't need that. Like no, but then your fingers. I don't need you licking your
All right,
fingers.
we got off the rails here. We've gone off the rails. I'm bringing us back on. Let's get back on track. We're here. We're here.
Just say. Anyway, well, how
Kate,
about with this?
thank
Why
you.
don't we? Thank you, Kate. By the way, thank you. I will never forget that moment either, and I wasn't even there. Uh, so, Steve, what has been going on in the world of in the streets of hospitality?
Ooh,
What have you
well, we
seen out
talked about the
there?
championship that was here. So shout out to all the great Indiana fans that caused no drama here in the city of Miami Beach. We talked about all the concerts, but I was under the weather, not feeling great. But I have a little coffee shop right by where I am, and I took a book. I was like, I just gonna go chill on an afternoon. Got some coffee, read my book, and they were so nice. They remembered me because I'd been there a couple times. They remember what I like to order. They had it ready they asked if I would like the same thing, had it ready for me, delivered it to my table, and just said, thank you for coming. We love seeing you here. And the little things is what makes a huge difference. So Rutina Coffee is the name of the coffee shop, and they do a great job here in the downtown Miami area. But that's what I really love is places like that. I want more of those places where people remember you. They make an effort to say, hey, I remembered you, and try to take care of you, especially when you're feeling a little cruddy and down and trying to get back to 100%. It's always nice to have somebody think of you like that in the world of hospitality. So shout out to Rutina Coffee. And if
Love
anyone has
that.
any soup recipes or wants to send me some soup, I'll send you my address. I need a little something. I got a sore throat.
Oh
Send it
my
on
goodness.
down here. I need someone to take care of me today.
Oh my goodness. We were talking offline how I feel like guys have a harder time when they're sick. They really need to be pampered.
I need someone, please.
I'm like, leave me alone until I get better. But so my story actually kind of ties in. It's similar to the story that I shared last week, but in a completely different context. And then there's a key takeaway. So last night I had this unexpected invite to NBC. I go to 30 Rock. I check in, and as I come in, they're like, Sarah, oh, we're expecting you. Again, very similar to the story I told last week of when I went to a restaurant in Las Vegas, and they were like, Sarah, we're expecting you. And it's simple. This is simple. It's the being expected. And it's all they have to, and maybe you don't necessarily know the person's name who's coming, but when going that extra step, if you have been shared information, if you work in hospitality and you have been shared information, offering up that you are at least aware of the situation, the person, whatever it is, does so much because the person doesn't have to repeat themselves. They don't have to reintroduce themselves, any of that. and it sets the tone in to me such a wonderful way. And again, it can be someplace like a restaurant, or last night I was going through security at NBC, but they were like, "Oh, we're expecting you." I'm like, "Oh, are you now?" So I love that. That's my little
Well,
story.
I put up a quote for us today. I found one
Oh,
as you were talking because we both talked about something similar.
okay, love
You'll see
this.
it pop up there on the comments, Will. This is motivate them, train them, care about them, and make winners out of them. They'll treat the customers right. And if the customers are treated right, they'll come back,
Mhm.
from Jay Willard Marriott. So I think that's exactly right. Treat your team right, they'll treat the people right. And it all is a full circle thing. We all take care of each other. So I'm gonna
So
go
true.
back and get my coffee. Even though I have my own coffee brand, I like being taken care of. And when people remember me, I'll go over there and spend my money.
This is true. This is so fair. That's by the way, great quote. Love that you found that on the fly. Look at
On
that.
the fly. I was just like, you know what? We got to find one about this. So, man, what a show. I can't believe we're over today. We went 5 minutes over, everyone. Thanks for hanging
Yeah.
with us. I feel like we could talk another 30 minutes for sure. I'm starting to get some good energy. I'm feeling energy levels
See?
coming up. Just hanging out with everyone here. I love
This is
it.
what
But
I call this the mid-morning energy.
good morning. You're fired up. I'm not used to 10 a.m. Sarah. I'm used to 7
Yeah,
a.m.
10 a.m. Sarah is a whole nother level. Sometimes I'll look back at the 7 a.m. shows and I'm like, wow, I was not as articulate as I should have been, because I'm like waking up. My body's like, we don't know what's happening. But now, no, we are rocking and rolling at the 10 o'clock hour. Just gonna
And,
say.
and and I think because of that, all you listeners and viewers, if you found some good things in this show, your friends will too. Make sure to copy and paste this and share it with them right now. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to Skipped, where you'll always be updated on what's going on in travel. But until next week, hey,
Stay
stay
hospitable.
hospitable.